The cost of a sister's love. Hi everyone and welcome back to our channel. Today I have a very emotional story to share with you. It is a story about family and money and hard choices. If you love these kinds of heartfelt stories, please hit the like button. Your support helps me create more English learning materials. My name is Emily and I grew up in a quiet suburb of Seattle. The gray clouds and soft rain were part of my daily life. My parents owned a small business selling outdoor gear. They worked very hard every single day of the year. My older sister Sarah and I were always super close. We shared everything from clothes to our deepest secrets. We spent late nights talking over pizza and watching movies. I recently graduated from college with a very high GPA. I received a wonderful offer from an Ivy League university. It was my dream to go to grad school on the East Coast. My parents were so proud that they cried when they heard the news. They had saved about $100,000 for me. This money was for my tuition and my living costs in the big city. Sarah met her fiancé Jake about 2 years ago. At first Jake seemed like a very kind and hard-working man. He grew up in a small rural town in the state of Idaho. He worked for a tech company and had a very solid salary. But his family back in Idaho was struggling with many problems. His parents were getting older and their health was not good. They did not have any savings or a house of their own. Sarah has the biggest and softest heart in the world. When Jake said they needed money for an apartment, she said yes. She gave him all the money our parents had saved for her. She called it her future fund, but she gave it away in one day. She even bought him a used SUV so he could drive to work. My mother just sighed and said, "As long as you are happy, sweetie." Then came the engagement party at a local restaurant. The air was thick with the smell of barbecue and loud music. That was the first time I met Jake's whole family. His mother had a very sharp look in her eyes. She was always scanning the room like a hawk looking for prey. His father drank a few beers and started talking very loudly. When he heard I was going to grad school, he laughed at me. "Kids these days do not want to work hard anymore," he said. "They just want to spend big money on fancy schools." His mother jumped in and said, "I heard stories about girls in college. We would not want that kind of girl in our family." I felt my face get hot with anger, but I stayed very quiet. Sarah squeezed my hand under the table and whispered to me, "Just let it go, Emily, it is a happy day for everyone." A few months later, Jake's mother got sick and needed surgery. Sarah was there every single day bringing food and cleaning. Jake kept saying he was too busy at his office to visit. One night Sarah called me while she was crying loudly. "Emily, Jake's mother still needs more money for her bills. Can you lend us your school money for a few months? I promise we will pay you back after the wedding." I was standing outside a coffee shop in downtown Seattle. The rain was drizzling and the air was very cold. My stomach dropped and I felt a heavy weight in my chest. "Sarah, that is my tuition money for my whole future. I have to pay the university very soon or I lose my spot." Her voice suddenly got sharp and very aggressive. "How can you be so selfish and cold, Emily? Saving a life is more important than your fancy school. Jake's family is suffering and you do not even care." I went home feeling physically sick that night. My parents were arguing with Sarah on the phone for hours. She wanted them to give her my college money for her baby. She said having a family is more important than a degree. My father was firm and told her no very clearly. We gave you both the same amount of money years ago. You chose to spend yours on Jake and his parents. We cannot take money from Emily to fix your choices. But Jake's family kept pushing and calling every day. They said Sarah could not marry Jake without more money. They wanted my parents to buy a second house for them. Sarah kept crying and asking for homemade food from Mom. Mom would drive over at midnight to drop off soup. She felt bad because Sarah was pregnant and tired. One day I went to their apartment to bring some fruit. Jake's little brother was playing video games on the floor. The room was covered in trash and dirty laundry. The boy was eating the expensive fruit Mom bought for Sarah. I almost slipped on a banana peel and got very frustrated. Jake's mother snapped at me and said, "Do not be dramatic." Then the worst thing in my life happened on a Tuesday. I checked my bank account to pay a school deposit. I saw that $50,000 was suddenly gone. Half of my life savings had vanished overnight. The password was my birthday and only family knew it. I called Sarah immediately and my voice was shaking. "Where is my money, Sarah? Tell me the truth right now." She sounded sleepy and very bored on the phone. "What money are you talking about? I do not know anything. You are old enough to keep track of your own bank account." I stayed very calm but my heart was racing. "I am calling the police in 10 minutes," I told her. "Big bank transfers like this can be traced by experts." She panicked and started screaming at me on the phone. "It is family money, you greedy and selfish girl. How can you waste money on a school when we are in need?" I hung up the phone and drove to the police station. I sat on the cold plastic chair and told the officer everything. They found the money very fast because of the bank records. Jake's mother had withdrawn the cash from a local bank. At the station she cried and said it was a misunderstanding. Sarah begged me to drop the charges for the sake of the baby. But I showed the bank records with my name and my signature. In the end they made the family return every single dollar. Sarah was so angry that she told everyone I was a monster. She told our relatives that I ruined her wedding and her life. But my parents finally saw the true face of Jake's family. They stood by me and helped me pack my bags for school. The wedding still happened at a big hotel in Seattle. I heard Jake's family whispering in the hallway that night. They were talking about how city families have too much money. I did not stay for the party or the cake. I just hugged my sister quietly and drove to the airport. On the plane, watching the Seattle lights disappear, I breathed. The air felt light and I felt free for the first time. I worked very hard at grad school for the next 2 years. Sometimes I would video call my parents on the weekend. Sarah had her baby boy but she sounded very exhausted. Jake's family kept asking her for more money and more favors. One day about a year later, Sarah called me in the evening. "Emily, I was wrong about everything," she whispered. "I thought giving everything would make them love me. But it just made them want more and more. Every day." I smiled through my tears and told her it was okay. We both learned something very important this year. Now I am back in Seattle running my own design business. I have a beautiful office and I am very successful. Sarah is a stronger woman now and she sets clear boundaries. She realized that she is not a bank for lazy people. Family love is not about giving until you have nothing left. It is about respect and supporting each other's dreams. Standing up for yourself does not make you a selfish person. It makes you a free person with a bright future. And sometimes saying no is the most loving thing you can do. What about you? Have you ever set boundaries with family? Drop your story in the comments and let us talk about it. Please like and subscribe to our channel for more stories. I will see you in the next video with a new lesson.